This, I think, possibly has a claim to being the oldest Bible on the island of Ireland. We're here in the Russell Library in St. Patrick's College, Maynooth, and we've got a very, very special Bible in front of us here. Now, you might say, well, the Book of Kells looks a lot older than this, and there are older books that contain texts from the Bible, but generally, before the 13th century, there were no such thing as complete Bibles with the whole text from beginning to end. What you had was a book of the Gospels or a book of the first 5 books of the Old Testament and so on. But in the 13th century, what starts to happen is you get Bible pandects, single volume Bibles, and they're often portable. They're designed to be used in the classroom or by orders of friars like the Franciscans and the Dominicans as they go around preaching. They carry these Bibles with them. And so in the 13th century, you have these one-volume Bibles, but they're also equipped with tools to help you navigate the biblical text. They're meant to be used, whereas monks previous to that would often have just read maybe one book of the Bible a year. They would have spent a long time slowly reading one biblical book. If you have classroom teachers or preachers, they need to be able to navigate the text rapidly. And so there are tools in this Bible to help you do just that. For example, in the upper margins of the manuscript, you have the names of the biblical books on every page. So if you crack open the Bible at any page, you'll know exactly what book of the Bible you're dealing with, whether it's Tobit on the left here or Judith on the right. Also, you've got something that we take entirely for granted, but that was quite an innovation at the time, chapter numbers. So you can see here, for example, chapter 13 of the book of Tobit, and here's chapter 2 of the book of Judith. And they're typically, for Bibles of this period, they're written in blue and red, just like the titles of the books in the upper margins. So these chapter numbers were an innovation at the time. They're usually associated with a scholar by the name of Stephen Langton. There were previous attempts to number different parts of the Bible, but none of them really caught on. None of them became standard until the 13th century, when through the influence of universities and through the influence of orders of friars, this became the standard numbering system in the Bible. You also have a standard order of books in the Bible in the 13th century. And you get extra little helps at the back of the Bible. Very often there are supplementary tools to help you understand the biblical text. So for example, in this Bible at the very end, we have a list of all the Hebrew names that occur in the Bible with their meaning. So that if you're preaching on a really strange text with lots of strange names, at least you can look up what these names mean and you can give an allegorical or a spiritual interpretation to the names. So this is a very special Bible. There were many of them produced in the 13th and 14th and 15th centuries. Before printing, these were mass produced in centres like Paris and Oxford. This one is French. It only made its home in Ireland in recent centuries. But as I said, I think it has a claim to being the oldest single volume Bible on the island.